I'm Shulin, a multidimensional coach devoted to helping you remember who you are and move forward with clarity, purpose, and inspired action. My work blends grounded coaching with intuition-based tools like Reiki, astrology, channeling, and Akashic healing. I hold space of sacred neutrality where you can hear your soul clearly and take aligned, heart-led action. Inside this space, we explore your purpose, intuition, relationships, goals, and what's truly calling you forward. Today, I'm joined by Emily, and I'm so honored that she agreed to share a glimpse of her multidimensional journey and our work together with you. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Shulin.
Thanks for being here. I'm so glad we're together.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
So, let's start with how we know each other. Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So you and I met it was the 1st of September in 2023, and we were doing a yoga shape shifting teacher training on Lake Michigan.
Yes, and maybe we should say a little bit about what yoga shapeshifting is for people who don't know.
Yeah, totally. So I've been doing it since then. Well, really since 2022, but yoga shape shifting, it's a sequence of body skills that helps you get deeper into the hips and spine and shoulders for healing, and also is a great complement to any yoga practice that a person
Hmm.
has.
Awesome. Great explanation. And you and
Yeah.
I both do Bikram hot yoga.
Hmm.
Right, which is then how we came to
Yes.
know Mary Jarvis, who teaches yoga
Right.
shapeshifting. And then we ended up in the teacher training, which was a
Hmm.
2 week immersion. And
Yes.
we were in a beach house together with, what was it, a total of 6 women. It
I
was like
think
a
there was.
tiny, intimate little training. Yeah, it
Uh-huh.
was so wonderful. And yeah, we all became very, very close during those couple of weeks. It was really
Definitely.
beautiful. And you and I stayed connected after that. And
Hmm.
then somehow, I mean, we must have talked about the work we did. We talked about the work that we do outside of teaching yoga, and you knew about the healing work that I was doing. And
Yes.
then,
Yeah.
so when you and I ended up working together, what was going on for you in your life that you felt called to work together?
Yeah. So in May of 2023, I had gotten some kind of congestion happening in my left nostril. It was something I had never experienced this before in my life. And I eat a very clean diet, no gluten, sugar, um, and dairy, stuff like that I keep out of my diet. And then at the time I was juicing a lot too. And so I was trying to just heal my body from the inside out with my diet. And then along with the movement, the hot yoga, all of that, which I did pretty much daily. And I just could not clear up my nostril. It was so bad. It was like it would throb sometimes, pulse and ache, and I couldn't breathe out of it. Anyways, this went on for months and it would kind of come and go, but it usually was always around a little bit. So after talking with you in Lake Michigan, around Lake Michigan, then I just finally was like, it just kind of sunk in more and more. And finally, it was December of 2023 that I contacted you and said, hey, I need a session. I've got this, just won't go away. And anyway, we talked about all kinds of things. I'm not familiar with all the things that you do. I just was all in, right? And so we pulled from the Akashic records, and anyway, you gave me different things to think about and other things I can bring into my home to maybe help with air quality, stuff like that. And I was open to everything. However, after our communication, it was either the next day or 2 days later. I don't remember which one, but it was gone, completely gone. I had never experienced something being around in my life so much and then just gone like that in an instant. And so I knew that there was something really special about our meeting, even though it was online. Like it just, I don't know, it worked. It
Hmm.
worked. And now I've got this other thing in my life that I'm looking forward to talking with you about. And yeah, just keep moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I think you touch on a couple of things that are pretty common with some people, which is one, not really understanding, at least mentally, what this work is when going into the
Hmm.
Akashic records or doing other kind
Yeah.
of energy healing work, which is
Right.
really consciousness work.
Hmm.
But there's something, like you said, you're drawn to it and you're all
Hmm.
in. And I even
Yeah.
remember when I first came into healing work over 20 years ago, and I had a mentor and a friend who's still a very good friend of mine today. And at the time, she said, your mind is going to try to understand it. but it won't, but your heart will understand it.
Yeah.
And even at the time, and it comes up now and then, and I see this with clients where there's a draw and there's definitely an understanding at the heart level. And like you said, all in, even if the
Mm-hmm.
mind is still going at it a little bit, like, what's this? I don't know, is this really going to work? But
Right,
then,
right.
like you said, you had your experience and that was so beautiful. And it was so cool to hear from you because usually I'll tend to check in with clients the next day to see how you're doing, any
Mm-hmm.
questions. Um, so we checked in and that was awesome because it had cleared up for you. But then a
Right.
few months later, I think is when you wrote to me and you're like, it's still not back. Like
Right, right.
I'm still good. Yeah, that's
Totally.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, can you speak a little bit about, so I love that. I mean, you got results, which is the key, right? That's why we do this work is to get results.
Totally. Totally.
And can you speak a little bit more about your experience of being in the session and just like you said, you didn't really know what it was, but you were all in. So what was that like for you to come in and be in that session?
Yeah, I just had to be completely open and trust your guidance, because like you said, like the mind wants to think this or that about everything. And I would just catch myself if I was, thinking, oh, that's not going to work, this or that. If I found any kind of resistance to it, I just leaned in more, right? And I just fully trusted your guidance and the things that you recommended and your experience with pulling from Akashic records and giving you all the information beforehand for that. And I think that's really what led me to my results is just being all in, no
Mm,
matter what, even watching when my mind would go elsewhere. Right. And
yeah, that's really
yeah,
beautiful. Well, good job
yeah,
for you for coming with an open heart. And I always try to remind clients of
definitely.
that is even if you don't understand, you're not getting it, that's okay. You don't
Mhm.
have to.
Right.
But
Yeah.
come with an
Yeah.
open heart, open mind, or put your mind aside, right? Let
Yeah.
it do its thing. Yeah, which we definitely learn from yoga and meditation.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's really cool. So you spoke about the sinus issue completely clearing
Hmm.
up. So that was a
Yeah.
shift. Was there anything
Hmm.
else that you want to share about what shifted for you after our work together?
Um, Yeah, we had touched a little bit about Jake, my husband, and I teaching yoga more, rather like the Bikram yoga, because we'd experienced teaching another style of yoga, and we really wanted to get deeper into yoga and just teaching more yoga shape shifting. And over time, that's evolved as well. We taught in yoga shape shifting in many different places here where we live, and now we both teach out of our detached garage. It's been converted into a yoga space with heaters, and we warm it up in the wintertime for yoga shape shifting, and then even warmer for hot yoga, which is the Bikram. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Congratulations. Yeah, because I
yeah,
know I remember from your session once we went through around the sinus issue and then we still had
hmm
time. So
hmm
I remember you brought up the business. And after that, I saw you posting a lot and so wonderful to hear. It sounds like you have a
yeah.
schedule going. And so what's it like? Do you want to share anything for people that may be interested or passing through, like how they can find you or get in
Well,
touch?
yeah, here in Columbia, Missouri, we're the only ones that teach Bikram and yoga shape shifting. And it's been offered at another studio, but it's no longer there. And that's where we used to work. So, yeah, we just keep this yoga alive and keep it going. We've got a following for yoga shape shifting every Sunday. And anyone that's curious about yoga, Bikram yoga is for beginners and anyone can practice it from age 7 to 107. So it's very healing for anyone who wants to check out what yoga is. And yeah, it's been really helpful for me, my mind, for my body, healing my body after a surgery when I was 15. And yeah, I fully believe in the yoga,
Hmm.
specifically the Bikram and the yoga shape shifting when it comes to healing the body.
Yeah, I can attest to that too. They are such an
Yeah,
amazing complement to each other. So that's awesome.
totally.
So you have a Sunday service
Hmm.
for
Yeah,
yoga.
exactly. Yep.
Okay. And a
So,
schedule. And so we'll put your contact info, whatever you want to share, in just in case anybody's going to be passing through and they want to try any of those classes so they can
yeah,
get in
yeah.
touch with you. Okay, good.
Definitely. Thanks,
Um,
Shu.
yeah, absolutely. And so, is there anything else that surprised you about the process, or even if you were talking with someone, anything you want to share with anyone who may be interested in doing this kind of work, but maybe feeling a little hesitant or not sure?
Yeah, I'd say just go for it. Just try something new and see, you're if you get stuck in old habits, you might not get the results you want. So try something new. And I really believe in your work that you do, specifically from you, Shulin. So I'm just grateful to know you and be able to connect with you online.
Awesome, Emily. I know it's so special. You don't need to be in person for this. And you're
Mm-hmm.
in Missouri and I'm in New York, and we can
Right.
still, meet in the field of consciousness
Totally.
and clear the slate of any
Mm-hmm.
patterns that are no longer serving
Yeah.
and get beneath those and rewrite and start the story anew, right?
Right. Totally.
Yeah. And so actually you mentioned, because we are going to be going into another session together, and you had actually reached out. We just realized, I just realized, because I look at the calendar, you had asked me when was it that we met, and
Mm-hmm.
basically it was exactly 2 years and one day ago. So
Believe it.
I know, and that you're still doing so well, especially with the sinus issue and the business
Definitely.
development. And
Yes.
so what was it that, it sounds like you were like, oh, now I have this thing. And so you thought to reach out. What was it that made you go, oh, I need to work with Shulin again?
Right. Yeah, I've been trying now for what I want to talk about moving forward. I've been trying to stick to a raw food diet for years now. And, I'm doing really well. And then I kind of fall off the wagon again. And then I do well again. And there's a lot of mental stuff that's going along with that, which is what I wanted to get in touch with you. But I'm mainly doing it for my body and to really feel open up and, just it allows for certain pain and numbness to just pass away, right, when I'm eating like super clean, at least that diet for myself. And yeah, I just realized I need some help with it, because I get to a point and then I just fall off, and it's again that mental stuff that I'm going through. So I figure, why not give it a shot? Why not talk to you and see any blockages that might be there that I'm not aware of, and pull on something greater than me to help me propel forward, because I know this is my purpose. I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because it helps all other parts of my life. So
Yeah.
anyway, just reaching out for a little bit of help.
Yeah, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate that, Emily, just
Yeah.
that you and I have that relationship, and that you feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable and safe with me, and that we made progress, and so you feel like this is a safe space to move forward with something else in your life. So thank you so much
Yeah.
for putting that trust in me and reaching back
Mm-hmm.
out. And
Yeah.
I just have to share, because I think it's so funny. So bringing it back full circle, right, to how we know each other with the training.
Yeah.
And when we
Yeah.
were 6 women in this little beach house for this
Mm-hmm.
teacher training, it was an immersion for 2 weeks. So we were living together, we were training together basically from early morning until late at night.
Yeah.
And the great thing, so we had a kitchen and we all
Mm-hmm.
brought our different diets, right? You were doing, I think you were a fruitarian primarily at the
Most
time.
very definitely like plant-based and high
Yeah.
raw.
And I
Mm-hmm.
was carnivore because I was dealing with some autoimmune, and that was what I was sticking with. And so I think I was the first one up in the morning, right? And I was
Mm-hmm.
making like a full pack of bacon
Mm-hmm.
and
Which
like
always
a
smells good to me, by the way.
I know, it's so funny. So I love that. And then when you were doing all your juicing throughout the day, it was like we were
Mm-hmm.
all very inspired by each
Yeah.
other's food choices in some way or another. And the beautiful thing was, and I think I even asked you at one point, like, are you okay that I'm doing meat and you don't do
Mm-hmm.
meat? And you were like, oh, yeah, of course, no problem. Do whatever you need to
Mm-hmm.
do. So I just love that, even at that time in that sacred space, we were all able to embody what we needed for ourselves. And it was so
Right.
unique, but then also be there with each other and even take appreciation from each other. Like you and everyone, we were like, oh, I love the smell of bacon in the morning. Like I miss
Totally.
that now when we got back home and we're still on the chat group. It was so funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, I know. I think fondly back on that time, and I think it's so cool that because you and I had the most specific diets of all the ladies. And it's funny how opposite ended our diets were, but yet that's what we connected over at first.
That's
Both
true.
of us had to go to the grocery store more often, getting like the fresh meats, the fresh produce, and all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we clicked right away, even though you wouldn't think that those two diets we would
hmm
have common. So
Yeah. I love that.
yeah,
I love that. And
cool.
I imagine that you probably bring that into your yoga teaching, right? I'm sure students ask you and consult with you about how you're doing that diet and how you're keeping it sustainable.
Some do ask me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a great resource. I'm so glad you're doing all of that. And it, like
Yeah,
you said, it all goes together. The diet and the movement and the yoga.
it
Yeah.
totally does. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's just another form of discipline, what we eat, right? Just like making it to our mat is a discipline.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
balances each other and really complements each other to have those two things in your life.
Yeah. Really.
So,
I know.
yeah.
Oh, Emily, thank you so much for being here and for sharing also, so personally about your journey. I really feel like these are the kinds of exchanges that just help others when they're thinking about this kind of work to see, what it could
Yeah.
do for them and just to hear somebody
Mm-hmm.
else's story. And I always say our stories become each other's lifelines. So
Mm-hmm.
even just to hear your story and how you made headway, especially trying something new in the face of maybe some mental resistance or even just curiosity and questioning, but still
Yeah.
going for it and then getting results, which is awesome. So thank you so much
Right.
for being here. And
Yeah.
yeah, your presence and your words are such a gift. So thank you. And then if you're watching this and feel the pull, I do offer soul guidance sessions and mentorships, and you can find more about me and my work at shulinaurora.com. So thanks so much for being here. And thank you, Emily.
Thanks, Shulin.